All right, we're out here with Lovie, and he's starting the partner program today. So we're gonna review some stuff, and I'm gonna introduce him to a couple new things as well. Right off the bat, I'm just gonna kind of see where he's at with like a verbal down. That'll give me an idea of kind of where to head next with him. Down. I have a feeling we didn't quite nail that yet. Okay, perfect. So a lot of times when we first see if we can get our dogs to go into a down on just a verbal cue, just saying the word down and expecting our dogs to do it, the dogs kind of cycle through what they know because we end up, is the camera okay? Sorry about that. So the dogs kind of end up cycling through what they know because we tend to practice their known behaviors in like a pattern. So first we ask the dog to sit, and then maybe we ask them for paw, and then we do down. And so when we say something, the first thing our dog is going to try to do if they don't know what that word is offer sit. So if I say Lovey, rutabaga, he's going to offer sit. And then if he's practiced down a lot at home and he's got that really nailed down, if I continue to ask him and say rutabaga over and over again, he might offer down next. But I think he struggled with down position in puppy, so we might still be kind of in the works with that. So I'm just going to kind of see what he knows. Good. Let's see if we can get that down position a little bit more nailed down. There it is. Good. He also has that long body, so it's hard to tell when his elbows hit the floor. Good. Perfect. The other thing we want to make sure, okay, and that looked great. It looks like we're still using our implied stay system, and that's going to be really important in this program. We want to make sure that we're consistently using our markers when we're asking him for commands. That is going to help him build clarity in when he should still be doing the behavior and when he's all done. So without that marker system, and we're just kind of traditionally working with our dogs, if I asked him to sit or down and then I gave him a piece of food, but then I stopped giving him food and maybe walked away, he would have to read the play and go, I think we're done. And so that happens sometimes without that marker system and without that implied stay system. Our dogs kind of have to go, you're not feeding me anymore, or your rate of reinforcement, how often you're feeding me, has kind of fallen off, and I think I'm done with it now. So then they get up and they move. So we want to teach our dogs that every command that you do, whether that's sit, down, place, heel, it's your job to do that thing until you hear your release word or your clicker. So those are the two ways we will always release our dogs from behavior. And as long as we're really good about remembering to do that, your dog's going to be really clear, and that's going to help accelerate learning and help get your dog to a place where you can have really great obedience while things are going on, while you're very far away, or for an extended amount of time. So we're going to kind of circle back to down. So he's kind of throwing out what he knows. I'm just going to push him out of my treat pouch there. Let's see what he kind of offers. That's something. Perfect. I'm going to help him out with a food lure. So this is what we did in puppy to help get our dogs into the position. We guided them to the floor. I'm going to take the food away if he pops up. Good. Perfect. Good. So in puppy, we relied really heavily on this food lure to help our dogs. Good. Okay. Perfect. I'm going to introduce a bit of what we call tactile pressure. So pressure is anything that we apply that changes our dog's behavior. Food is actually a pressure because as soon as food is applied, that changes the dog's behavior almost immediately. However, it's kind of a pressure we want to move away from because if he breaks out of down or any behavior, and I use food to help get him back into that position, he might actually start breaking from position in order to get the food back in the picture. So if he's sitting there and I'm waiting for him to do something, and he's like, I could sure use some food right about now. I'm going to pop up and she's going to bring the food back into my face. Even if I don't feed him, he's still going to potentially break position to get the food back in the picture. So instead of using a food lure to guide him down, I'm going to start using the leash. So I'm going to use tactile pressure. And that's a really obvious form of pressure, just like food, but it's one that he probably doesn't want in the picture as much as he would want food. So this tactile pressure is just going to be a slight downwards pressure, basically enough to where he can feel it. I don't want to put too much physical pressure. So I don't want the amount of pressure being what's making him go, oh, I need to turn this off and get into position. It's simply enough to communicate to him that something needs to fix or change. So we're going to get him back into that sitting position. Down. See if he offers it. All right, so we're in that sitting position. I'm going to use that downwards pressure, and I'm going to release it as soon as he kind of lowers his neck. If he gets up and moves away, I'm just going to try to make sure that that pressure, there it is, almost. I'm reapplying the pressure. You probably can't see it on the camera now that he's facing this direction. So I'm using that fingertip pressure towards the floor, and every time he kind of moves or does something, I'm actually going to release the pressure and then just reapply it if he's not offering what I want. So I'm quick to release the pressure if he does something other than just staring at me. And as soon as he's like halfway there, as soon as that body hits the floor, so I'm reapplying the pressure now because we didn't quite get what we wanted. There it is. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, perfect. So in the first few reps of this, it's going to be a little bit slow motion. I'm also going to be kind of on the floor with doing this pressure, but in a couple of reps, I'm actually going to start to be in a standing position, asking for this. Down. Good. I'm releasing it here because he kind of moved in the right direction. Yeah, so close. I'm going to reapply the pressure. Good. Not quite. Reapply the pressure. Good. He's sniffing my hand looking for that food. He's like, this isn't as cool as when you use the food to help me. So pressure. And this is an important moment when they're kind of like looking around and not doing anything. He's actually thinking. So pressure on. Good. Pressure on. Good. Good boy. Good. So those moments when your dog kind of looks like they're in the sandy beach in their head and they're staring off, I didn't release you. They're staring off into space. That's actually an important moment. A lot of times when dogs do that, we, the human, we, the human, have the tendency to stop whatever it is we're doing, like nagging them or putting on pressure. And it actually strengthens the behavior of ignoring you. So when dogs kind of look like they're ignoring you, sometimes they are, and sometimes they're just thinking, but either way, we want to make sure that we maintain what we're asking them in that moment and kind of follow through so that we don't accidentally reinforce ignoring us as a way to get out of something. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to try this now. I'm going to reset him real quick, do a little treat toss. Good job. Yay. I like to do treat tosses in between working on stuff to make sure that my dog's like motivated and getting their little juices flowing. So I'm going to say down. I'm going to give him a second to do something. He's going to be like, I don't know. So now I'm going to apply that downwards pressure, but I'm going to use my foot this time and see if that kind of translates. Good. I'm going to release it a little bit right there. I'm going to reapply it. I could have probably released it just there where he was shifting just a little, but I'm going to see if I can ask for more. Oh, very close. I'm just going to wait him out here. He's kind of weighing out his options. Good boy. Whoops. Oh, so close. He popped up. Some of that pressure comes back on. Good boy. Good. Good job. Okay. So sometimes that's hard to sit there and wait it out. It's really important in the learning stages. Eventually, when I know that he knows the answer, I may be inclined to increase the pressure, but I don't want to do that from the rip. I have a feeling that he has kind of just like learned to tune out, and that has at some point made him successful at getting out of whatever situation that was. So we're probably just going to have to extinguish that behavior from being successful a few more times before he starts offering that more quickly. So make sure that you have all the time and patience to work through this with him when you go to start this exercise, and only do it about 3 or 4 times before you hang it up. So end it on a really good note. I think that this is a great place to stop because he's offering the down now. He looks happy, and we're going to do something more fun and circle back to this later. But for homework, you can practice seeing if you can use that tactile cue for the down position and making sure that you are using your release word or the clicker. What's he doing? Alex is being creepy behind the camera. So making sure that you're using your markers with him during obedience so that that is a consistent thing throughout all of his commands that will help him build some clarity. So good job, Lovie. Good job, dude. Yay.